Helo, shwmai, a croeso I Podlediad Tadau'r Trymder, gyda fi, Heddiw. Welcome to the Fathers of Metal podcast with myself, Heddiw of METALIDADS, for our new interview series called The Big Four, where we ask 4 questions to a band in each episode, fitting into our themes of metal music, mental health, and fatherhood. So today, I'm very pleased to welcome David Davidson from the US death metal outfit REVOCATION. So welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. We're going to get straight to it. So this is question 1. This is normally a question that interviewers normally want to get out of the way as a warm-up question, but a deadly serious one for us. And in the spirit of METALIDADS and on the spirit of checking in with our bros, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, Dave, how's your mental health today? Question number 1.
Yeah, I would give it let's go solid 8. Yeah, pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I'll match you on the 8 as well. So I'm feeling your vibes through the computer. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's not a warm-up question. It's a proper serious question because not enough people ask each other how they really are, and it's sometimes easier just to put it on a scale of 1 to 10. So.
Sure.
Question number 2. So for context for some of our listeners who may not be familiar with you or your music, you are, of course, REVOCATION, a tech death band from Boston, Massachusetts, and a trio as of around 2020. So your 8th studio album, Netherhaven, awesome name, by the way, gets its release from Metal Blade Records on Friday the 9th of September. The first since 2018 is the Outer Ones, and making it the longest gap between albums at a grand total of 4 years, which for me isn't really that long at all, but probably a lifetime for you considering the events that have taken place in between the both albums. So question number 2, what was the catalyst or spark that explained the creative decisions, ideas, and themes included in Netherhaven?
So I think part of it had to do with looking back at the previous record. The Outer Ones was a cosmic horror inspired record, a lot of Lovecraftian themes there. So I wanted to kind of explore other topics, and for me, I guess I just kind of had the idea in my head at some point. I think I was on tour, but it just kind of hit me. I'm like, all right, we went to outer space on the last record. On this one, we're going straight to hell. So once I had that general concept in the back of my mind, it's hard to say where influence comes from. I mean, I try to write from my subconscious, so that I feel like it comes from a natural place. I try not to overthink things too much when I'm writing. I mean, I certainly try to refine and hone my ideas, but in terms of just sitting down to writing material, I try to just let that creative spark take over. So I can't say for sure if knowing in the back of my mind that it's going to be more of an infernal album, if that had some effect on the writing process overall, or if I would have written the same shit if it was a concept record about I don't know, ants or something. But it just kind of took over, and yeah, I feel like once the ideas started flowing, it just kind of fell into that similar natural writing process of any other record. And then, of course, once it came time to write the lyrics, that's when I got to really put that concept to work and try to tease out different things, have different ideas that I thought could fit under that umbrella, whether it might have a political slant to it or just kind of dealing with religious iconography and sort of more hellish themes in general, demonic possession, seances, Ouija boards, things like that. So I had a lot of fun writing the lyrics on the new record. And yeah, I think there's a really good marriage of the music and the overarching theme.
Interesting you mentioned religion, because from what I read, you, of course, were grown up in Catholicism, isn't that right?
Yeah, I went to Catholic school as a young lad.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. No, so not that I want to dwell too much on lockdown, because that's a topic we'd rather avoid talking about, but plenty of us went in the direction of, as Queen call it, stone cold crazy and suffering with poor mental health as a result of it during the lockdown. However, yourself in particular managed your time quite effectively, especially musically, going back to school, I suppose, with music theory and getting to know the recording desk in the studio pretty well. So question number 3, how did lockdown benefit you as a band?
Yeah, I just dove into my work. For me, I think that was a big part of keeping myself sane during the pandemic. I had the good fortune of being involved with different studio projects. Some were for charity, so I got to collaborate on some cover songs that we put out there. I got to write some original music with this sort of super group that I helped assemble, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, I think for me, anytime I've gone through anything personal or just sort of having general anxieties, music has always been there for me. The guitar has always been a creative outlet for me that helps me tackle those feelings and emotions. And it kind of, I guess, helps me. It's just a cathartic release, really, when I'm writing music. So not having the ability to play shows, right, and go on tour, obviously I had to find other creative outlets. So yeah, I like I said, I dove into my work. I tried to learn new skills, even if I wasn't playing music in a live setting. I was playing music in these collaborations and making my voice heard there. And yeah, I had it was a fun learning experience, getting better with Logic. I taught myself a little bit about video recording. So I had a whole bunch of things that were sort of keeping my mind preoccupied. And I guess I always sort of saw the light at the end of the tunnel, where it's like, all right, we're going to get through this, but okay, how can I come out of the pandemic with like a whole kind of new set of skills? So when it comes time to get back in the saddle, I can just not fuck around and just start kicking some ass.
Well, man, I love your energy. It's very, very infectious. You're talking about collaborations. Now, you didn't just secure one death metal giant as a guest vocalist for this record. You wanted to push the boat out a bit, and you actually managed 2. So firstly, the legendary George Corpsegrinder Fisher of Cannibal Corpse, who I and a lot of our METALIDADS members are huge fans of. He appears, of course, on the already available single titled Re-Crucified, along with another giant, the late, great Trevor Strnad of Black Dahlia Murder, who, of course, you officially dedicate this latest record to since his tragic passing in May. So I'm not going to recycle the details in regards to Trevor's stories. Of course, it's been reasonably well covered and still very, very fresh, of course. I'm sure you've had plenty of attention and questions fired at you, being the band that captured his final vocal contributions to music. So question 4 of the big 4, in your eyes, Dave, what should, could, or can the metal community do next to support musicians and fans who feel that they have nobody to turn to when they are truly suffering with their thoughts and their mental health? What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I think it's very important to have a local community around you, right? So whether it's a friend or a family member, someone that's in your life that can just be an ear. I mean, I think sometimes for people, just talking about things can help. Certainly we have a massive global community of metalheads out there, but making those connections, forming those bonds with other people in a local scene. I mean, we're very sort of communal creatures. So as great as the internet is with opening up, the world to everybody, I think a lot of that mental health just sort of starts at home and in our own community. So, trying to maybe do something. It doesn't have, I guess my point is, it doesn't have to be this giant grand scale. It can just be something local. It could be getting together with friends, just checking in on people. If you know that someone's struggling, having a tough time with mental health or addiction related things, like check in on your friends. I mean, I had a very close friend of mine who was struggling with addiction, and I went out of my way to like link up with him and like go out and grab a coffee or just go for a walk and just try to help your friends get their heads on straight, I think is important. And then also, hopefully like nurturing and fostering your friendships so that people feel like they do have a place to turn. They do have, I mean, I tell all my friends, like, if you ever, if some tragedy happens in their life, they lose a loved one, or or they're dealing with relationship issues, I try to make a point to tell all my friends, like, if you need anything, just call me. We can text her, but just shoot me a call, and we'll shoot the shit, or we'll go out and we'll grab a coffee or whatever. Making yourself available to your friends, I think, is very important, and people who hopefully will return you that same kindness down the line. But just trying to be a force for good in the world, just in general. If you can put out good, positive energy, and whether it's, again, fostering a local community where you're helping to put on a show. You don't even have to be in a band. You could just like help go out and support the scene just by going to a show. Volunteering. There's so many different things that you can do, and what I've found, is by giving back, or that was a real highlight of the pandemic for me. The fact that we got to do a T-shirt design, and we gave all the money to charity. That was something that was a highlight of the pandemic for me. So I think there's a lot of different things that people can do. We can't save the world, right? But I think collectively we can do our part in our own communities, and then hopefully that type of positivity, that type of energy, creativity, whatever you want to call it, or however you're filtering that, those little gestures can make a big difference overall, especially if more and more people adopt that.
Great, amazing answer. Thanks, man. You mentioned positivity and positive mental attitude. We recently caught up and linked up actually with Max Cavalera, and as he called it, positive mental attitudes, all about the positive vibe. So thanks very much for your positive vibe today, and just your insights into your belief in what we should be doing in the community of metal. And it's been great discussing everything about the album, which of course comes out on the 9th of September on Metal Blade Records. So Dave, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon. And as we always say in METALIDADS, whether it's whammy bars or weaning, napalm death or nappies, it's always good to talk. And it's let there be talk is our hashtag let there be talk. So thanks for talking to us today. So stay heavy and stay healthy, my friend. And as we say in Welsh, tan tro nesa. So until next time. Great to meet you, dude. Thank you so much. Look after yourself.
Thank you so much, man. Cheers.
Thank you.